Hello children, welcome to online session. Today we will learn a new chapter from physics, friction. Before we understand what is friction, let us go through some instances that we see in our day-to-day life. So when you ride a bicycle, you apply brakes and the bicycle stops. And when you walk on a smooth and wet floor, do we slip? Or it is difficult to walk on such floors? How do we feel when we walk on a rough floor? And what happens when you step on a banana peel? We slip. So what are all these instances telling us? There is some kind of force which is acting on us when we move on a rough or a smooth surfaces. The answers for all these questions we will find out in this chapter, children. Here, consider this example where you see that we push a book on a table from left side. Initially, the position of the book is here. When you push, you can see that the book is moved. And does it continue to move? No, it stops at some distance, right? And when you push the book from the right side, initially the position is here, and when you push, it moves for some distance and stops, right? And there's another example here. Place the book in an inclined position, that is in a slant position. We can use two other books for support like this, and we can keep this book in an inclined position and roll a battery from this top of the book. So, and what you see in the orange color is a sand. Pour some sand on the table and allow the battery to roll from the book, top of the book. So the battery moves to this distance and measure this distance. Okay, then clear the sand and keep the table smooth. So repeat this experiment, that is roll the battery from the top of the book. So the battery rolls. Will it stop at the same distance or will it move further away from the book? So what is the answer for this? The battery will move further away from the book. Why? Because the surface was smooth. Initially it was rough with the sand. And here the book stops after moving for some distance, right? When we also stopped pushing the book. So what is the force that is acting on the book? What is the force that is acting on the battery to stop it? And this force is called as a friction. This is a force which acts on two surfaces, which is between the two surfaces. It's a relative motion between two surfaces which are in contact, and its direction is opposite to the movement of the object. So when you are pushing the book from the left side, there is a force of friction from the right side which makes the book stop. And when you are pushing the book from the right side, the force of friction is on the left side which stops the book. Same thing applies here in this example too. So what is friction? Force that opposes relative motion between two surfaces in contact. So here in the second example, we saw that the movement or the force of friction depends on the surface. On the rough surface, the distance was less. On the smooth surface, it was more, right? What was more? The movement of the object. Therefore, the friction was less on smooth surfaces and the friction was greater on the rough surfaces. So therefore, the factors which are affecting the friction depends on the nature of the surface and the smoothness of those surfaces and how hard the two surfaces press together. That is, here there is a weight, the book has some weight, battery also has some weight. So how heavy the object is on the surface, it depends on that also. Why is the friction less on smooth surfaces and greater on rough surfaces? That is because, can you see in this picture, friction is affected by smoothness of the surfaces. When it is smooth, there is no interlocking, whereas on the rough surfaces, the irregular surface of both the objects make the surfaces to interlock. Therefore, the movement of the surface will be difficult. Therefore, the friction will be higher. Therefore, how is friction caused? Because of the interlocking of the irregularities in the two surfaces. And what are the types of friction? We have four types of friction: static, sliding, rolling, and fluid friction. We will take up each one of them and study in detail. Static friction, when we say static, that means anything or any object that is at rest. Here in the picture, can you see there is a heavy object, a table or a box, which is at rest initially, and when the person tries to push the table or a box, the box is moved. And we see that there is a resisting force acted upon between the two surfaces, that is the table and the ground. And this resisting force, when we say resisting, that is the force which does not allow the object to move. This resisting force or the opposing force is called as the static friction. So, and what is the magnitude or the measure of the static friction? The amount of force that is being applied to move the object from the rest position will give you the magnitude or the measure of this static friction. So this is what is mentioned here. The force required to overcome friction at the instant an object starts moving. Starts moving is from the rest to some distance it moves, is a measure of static friction. And what is sliding friction? The force that is required to keep the object moving with the same pace or speed. So when we write on a book using pen, some amount of force is being applied to keep up the speed of writing, right? Which slides on the book. This object pen is sliding on the book. So this is called as a sliding friction. So where is that force of friction acting? It is between the pen and the book. Here in this case, it is between the table and the ground. So we know friction is nothing but a force between two surfaces which are in contact. In rolling friction, one of the surfaces rolling. And this rolling surface can be a wheel, roller, or a ball. Here in the picture you can see the bowling game, the ball and the lane, the smooth lane, right? So there is a force of friction acted between the ball and the smooth lane, which is called as a rolling friction. And when you ride a bike, so there is a rolling friction between tires and the ground. So this is rolling friction. What about fluid friction? In science, we call water and air as fluids. So what is fluid friction? When we see animals moving inside the water, swimming into the water, we see that they swim with some amount of force exerted by them so that it can break through the friction that is exerted by the water. Only then the animals can move forward, because there is a fluid friction which is opposing their movement from the fluid. Here the fluid is water. What about the birds flying or aeroplane flying in the air or atmosphere? The air exerts force in the opposite direction which resists them to move forward. So there should be some force applied by the birds or the aeroplanes so that it can move forward. This amount of friction is fluid friction. So how do we measure the force of friction? So we see a spring balance on the right hand side. So we all have seen this when we measure the weight of the newspapers when we try to discard them, right? A person uses a spring balance to weigh the newspapers. Any object can be placed on the hook. It has a graduated scale and a spring inside, and there's a pointer. This gives you the force that is being exerted by the object, and the value or the magnitude of the force can be measured using this graduated scale on the spring balance. So is force essential in the nature? Yes, it is very much essential. That is why it is called as a necessary evil. Why should we call it as an evil? Because it is an obstructing or an opposing force. For whatever we do, it is opposed. But this is essential. Why? Because we cannot do all these things without friction. That is, we cannot hold a glass if there was no friction, or when you just roll a ball or any other things that can roll, a wheel, it should stop. It should stop. Otherwise, it continues to move, right? All the things starts moving. And the friction is the force which stops them. And how about writing on a blackboard or on a book with pen or pencil? It is possible only because of the friction. And fixing a nail on the wall is also friction. Striking a matchstick to produce fire, there is a chemical on the matchbox, but only due to friction that stick can strike a fire. So all these things tell us that friction is a necessary force in the nature. In some cases, we need to increase the friction. For example, the tires need to be treaded like this so that it has a good grip on the ground, and our shoe soles are grooved so that we have a good grip while running or walking. Particularly football shoes have studs like this, which gives you a very good grip. And what about the kabaddi players, cricket players, who wipe their hands with sand so that they can hold the opponent with a good grip? Right? When we apply the brakes while riding a bicycle, and in all these cases we need to increase the friction, and it is done but in some cases we may have to reduce the friction. That is, in these cases friction is undesirable, so we need to minimize the friction. So what are those cases? For example, we sprinkle fine powder, boric powder, on the carom board while we play, right? So to make the strikers or the coins to move easily on the board. And what about the oil being used on the hinges of the door? And here also you can see that the cycle chains being greased, right? Therefore the substances which are used to reduce the friction are called lubricants. Here oil is a lubricant, but oil is not advisable for all the machinery parts. They use other substances as lubricants. Here can we see ball bearings which are used to reduce the friction. Wherever the rollers are used, the amount of friction is very less. So you can see that even in our luggage bags, where the wheels are being added so that we can easily roll them. What about the slides? The slides are polished so well so that there is a smooth slide over it. What happens when a lubricant is added? Can you see these are irregular surfaces? When a lubricant is added, it forms a cushion. Therefore, the surfaces or the objects can be moved easily on the lubricant. The irregular surfaces do not come in contact with each other. They are in contact with the lubricant. Lubricant is a very smooth substance like oil. So therefore, the moving parts can move easily. As mentioned earlier, the friction caused by rollers is very less when compared to other three types. Therefore, the machineries where sliding parts were used are replaced now by rollers like wheels or the bearing balls. Here, can we see a luggage bag with the wheels? It is very easy to pull a luggage fitted with rollers, right? Similarly, ball bearings are used between the hubs and the axles of ceiling fans and bicycles. This reduces the friction. Fluid friction is nothing but the force of friction exerted by the fluids, that is air or water, on the object which is passing through them. And it depends on the object speed or the energy that the object should possess to break through the force of friction, or the shape of the object. Here we can see that the aeroplane is shaped like a bird so that it can move through the air easily like a bird. And nature of the fluid, the viscosity of the fluid, how thick the fluid is, it also depends on that. So these are the factors that fluid friction depends on. So this picture on the right hand side gives you a summary about all the four types of friction: static, sliding, rolling and fluid friction. On the left hand side you see a riddle from the textbook. It's a very nice riddle which will give you a summary about friction. go through that. Okay children, thank you. Meet you all in the next session.